Hello. In this video, we're going to go over plate tectonics, the two essential processes that make up plate tectonics. So let's get started. Plate tectonics. It describes and explains how the major features of the Earth form and/or are deformed. So what is plate tectonics? Well, guess what? It is exactly what we already said. It is a theory that describes and explains how the major features of the Earth form and/or deform. So we have this beautiful shaded leaf map of the world. Lighter colors indicate higher elevations and darker colors indicate lower elevations. And if you have not finished writing this down yet, please pause the video so that you can write it, and then let's go ahead and listen to me just for a second. So what we notice here is we have our continents. Here's America, and here's South America, Africa, and in between we have an ocean called the Atlantic Ocean. But if you notice right here in the middle, we have a very shallow, lighter colors indicate high elevations. We have a very high elevation right at the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and we also have that here and here, right? So we have some areas that have very high elevations. We also have areas on land that have high elevations, like the whole coastal region, the western coastal region of the United States, North America, all the way down through Mexico, and in South America, and also here where India and Asia are very high elevations. So it's kind of interesting. And we also have darker colors, and notice that the darker colors are on either side of the light color in the Atlantic Ocean, and we'll talk about that later. So, two essential processes in plate tectonics. Well, the first essential process is sea floor spreading. So write that down. It's the first essential process. And that's literally where lava or liquid rock is coming up in the middle of the ocean, and it is spewing through and hardening, and it's causing the plates to move apart. Or in reality, actually, it's the plates are pulling apart, and this is just spewing up. So the analogy I like to use is if you take your skin and you just separate it and keep separating, it'll pull apart and blood will come up. Well, that's sort of what's going on with the Earth. This plate is being pulled this way, this one is being pulled this way. It gets really thin right here, and lava is just seeping out, which is the inner rock of the Earth. And the other essential process is subduction. So if we have something being created here, that means that somewhere the Earth has to be being destroyed. Otherwise, the Earth would just keep getting bigger and bigger. So at the other end of a plate, you're going to have subduction, where one of the plates is being shoved under, and it's melting. And as it melts, it will then circulate around and come back over here and come up again at the mid-ocean ridge. So here's a better picture of that. So a plate is a piece of lithosphere. This lithosphere is composed of crust and upper mantle. So what we have is we have our crust, or we have our, in this picture it says this is the lithosphere. The lithosphere you're going to see in the next picture is really, it's crust on top and a piece of the upper mantle, piece of the asthenosphere, which is liquid rock that is going around. It's hot and moving, and as it moves, it is pulling the crust with it. Right? So the lithosphere is composed of crust on top and then upper mantle, which is this liquid stuff underneath, and it is moving around. So it's the upper part of this and then the crust on top. So let's look at a better picture of that, and here's a little bit better picture of it. So we have our crust up here, and then we have our upper mantle here, and it's kind of pulling this crust along. And that crust can have ocean on it, or that crust can have continent on it. So if it's continental crust, has a continent on it, and then this upper mantle is pulling it along, right? And then this is the regular mantle. So the upper mantle pulls the crust along as it moves. So literally, it's pulling this along, and whatever is on top of it as it moves along. So key features, key geologic features that are caused by seafloor spreading are as follows. We have volcanoes, right? So right here, where we have one plate being destroyed by another one, we have volcanoes forming. We have mountains also forming. We have mid-ocean ridges, and that's right here in the middle. We're going to have this mid-ocean ridge forming. All right, and that's where the plates are being pulled apart from, so they're being separated. And as they separate, mantles coming up or hot lava is coming up. We have trenches, so a trench is formed where one plate goes beneath the other, and it's being pulled down, so we have trenches. And we have earthquake faults. So whenever you have two plates moving past each other, you're going to have earthquakes at that boundary where they are moving past each other. So which plate is denser? Well, if you have two plates that are colliding, the ocean plate is always denser. It's made of a more dense rock. The rock is more compact, and so it will always be pulled down below. So that means that the continental crust, once it forms, it kind of sits on top and never really gets destroyed. It gets worn away and can wash back into the oceans as sediment, but it is not being subducted. Finally, which ocean is getting bigger? So these are our plate boundaries right here, each of these black lines. And so we're going to look at the Atlantic Ocean, which is right here, and the Pacific Ocean right here. So which one looks like it might be getting bigger? Well, here we have two plates moving away from each other. So this one's moving this way, this one's moving this way, because this is a mid-ocean ridge. It is creating as we go. In this, we have a plate moving this way. We have a plate moving that way. This is our mid-ocean ridge here a little bit. So in this case, the Atlantic Ocean is the one that's getting bigger. It's kind of confusing, but here the seafloor is actually it's spreading out. It's creating and pushing ocean on either side of it. So it's getting bigger and bigger. Here we have our plate boundaries, but we don't have we have ocean being created here, but this is being subducted by South America. So this is actually going to go away. So the ocean is getting smaller here, getting smaller here. So that concludes our video for today. Thank you and have a nice day.